My name is Robin Dodd, I'm a British landscape photographer, and in this video we're going to look at how to find compositions in woodlands during the depths of a British winter, which can be pretty grim. So follow me and I'll show you how I go about doing it. Okay, so second day of Beech woods, because we've had a bit of mist and fog 2 days in a row. This is just a really simple scene, and if you are starting in woodland photography, this is the type of thing I think that really you should be looking for. Beech trees are straight and a little bit wavy sometimes, just very little bit bowing out and that sort of thing. And so this beautiful tree is a classic example here. I mean, just look at the texture on here and the light. I mean, this isn't actually light. It's just the way you've got darker sort of moss on, not moss, but sort of lichen on this side, where the water's been running down and darkened it, and then you've still got some of the lichen on here that's lighter. It gives almost an ethereal look to the trunk, and there's lots of this type of stuff in the woodlands around here. Sometimes they're a bit red, sometimes green like this, and so this is the subject. I mean, it looks great, and then that leads you down into the distance, this avenue almost of other trees, and that's the feeling that you're trying to put across. And this is accentuated because we've got mist and fog, it comes to the foreground even more. You can get away with this without mist and fog, with good lighting, more so than like in the oak woods that I showed you on the video before. Particularly with a bit of nice side directional light, because these sort of trees will pop out a little bit, which makes it doable, the woodland, when it's not foggy. We'll carry on. It's starting to get lighter now, and the settings are pretty much similar. I've been doing f/16. Well, actually, because it's a wider shot, so this is on sort of, I think, about 24mm, whereas before I quite often use 50mm plus for my shots. That's focal length on a full frame camera. Because I've gone out to 24mm, and I still want that depth of field, I can afford to bring the aperture down to f/13. And still get everything sharp, and that's because the wider the angle, the wider the aperture can be to get away with more focus. And so I tend to set that rule, f/13, 14 when I'm shooting wide in the woods, which I can get away with now at the moment because of the mist and the fog. I wouldn't have wanted the sky in otherwise, and that's particular with a day shot. I wouldn't have wanted the sky in. And then f/16 when it's 50mm, and then if you're getting above 50mm, to sort of 70, 100mm, that's difficult. You're really just shooting on what you're specifically looking at, and the rest of it's definitely going to be out of focus unless you focus stack. Right, we'll carry on. Same again, edge of the woods, We've got the plantation behind us, the pine plantation, and we've got these beautiful beech tree with a little bit of twisted branches above, and it frames the light and the mist going into the background. And then also there's some other poor godforsaken tree on the right hand side here that's bending over to give a bit of framing to it. So you know that may work, particularly when you play with the editing with the light. And I think that if you vary the contrast within the editing, that'd be quite good. I had to have polarizer on this one, and I have varied the f-stop, the aperture. It's starting to piss down with rain now, so we might be heading back. But anyway, I hope that helps. Just gives you an idea of the difference and what I might be looking for in different types of forests. So part one, that was about forests with oak trees, they're all gnarly bendy oak trees. If you haven't seen that, it's worth having a look at. And then part two, this one here, was the more straighter trees, the beech trees. They're ancient trees, both oak and beech trees, and they're very interesting. Forest here. We're 40 miles from the centre of London, so we're not far away, but these trees, these forests have gone back through the centuries. This is what fueled the Industrial Revolution, from medieval times through to the Industrial Revolution to now. Luckily, we've preserved large parts of it down here in the southeast of England. And the reason for that was the royal family used to use these forests for hunting, and so they were a bit of a no-go zone, and kings and queens made sure that the peasants only took what they needed from the woodlands, so they didn't massively cut it down for logs and that type of thing. And so we still got the forests. Other parts of the UK, they just completely wiped them out to fuel the British economy, essentially. That's the only way you can describe it. And these trees, strangely, have almost been saved by coal. Coal, really, at the end of the day, came into its own during the Industrial Revolution. That's what fueled it, and that's what saved these trees. Coal was a more efficient way of running the economy, and the big mills and the steam engines and that type of thing, than having to cut down these poor trees. So they survived because of their fossilised ancestors, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. So you know, the history of these woods is quite interesting, and wandering around in these misty woodlands, you can you can imagine maybe one day the hunters of the royal family sweeping through past us peasants, whittling away in the woodlands. This is good. So on the way back, it was still quite foggy. The area that I came through, it got even foggier. So we've got, I knew this woodland here has some beautiful copper tones on it. So beech trees, particularly the young ones, I've mentioned this before, retain their sort of like copper leaves. And if you see this tree here behind me, it's a small beech tree, and so because it's young, it tends to sort of try and keep the leaves longer, because the canopy will strangle it of all light, particularly in those spring, summer months. So what happens is it produces the leaves much earlier and retains them much later in the year. That way, when the larger trees drop their leaves, it will get more light, then sustenance to grow. So these look really great in foggy conditions because, you know, they just they contrast with that copper feel, so it gives a bit of colour to a winter woodland. It's about the only colour that's on offer here at the moment. So, you know, how do we frame it? Well, it's framed like it is. I've done it more zoomed in actually when I've actually taken the shot, and I've also done portrait as well as landscape, and I think that the portrait will work better. I'll put them both on and see what you think. The issues here are dynamic range. We're okay because it's a bit muted because it's actually quite thick fog here today. What else are the issues? So we have the fact that we're looking into the light, and so the copper leaves look almost dark and shadowy, but we'll bring that out in post-processing. Now some people say, well, post-processing, why are you doing that? That's not the real thing. Well, it is, because my eye sees the copper, but the camera doesn't, so we just have to reproduce what the eye sees. It's amazing what the eye does, how it just takes it all in, recomputes it so that you actually see all those tones and colours, whereas the camera won't. So currently, unless you've got an iPhone 16 or something, cameras are relatively limited. Polarizers on, just slightly off. So that there's a slight bit of sheen on the leaves below, because you don't want to make those too dark. F13, it's a wider aperture, I think. Oh, sorry, it's a wider focal length, I think. But I just thought F13 slightly sharper, and we're not really worrying too much about the background because we want that blurred. And these two big beech trees coming up, and you can see either side and framing it. So yeah, no, I think it's a nice little scene, and hopefully it will come out in the portrait version, which is what I'm hoping for. Right, we'll just move on, I think. Right, before I go, a couple of other things that might help you out. First one is my book. It's on woodland photography. It's an ebook. It's about 144 pages long. You might find that quite useful, and you can find that on my website, linked down below. I'll also do a bit of tuition on editing. I use DxO, so I'm an affiliate to DxO, and you can get a discount through that. I get a little bit of money, that helps my channel. Link in the description below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, I think that's it for the day. The mist is dissipating, it's starting to rain a bit. I think it's time to go home, and all of you that know me very well, it's a well-deserved large bacon and mushroom bap for me. Thank you.